Hello, this is Jason Hildefort, part of Interactive Blind Date at Ljubljana about urban realities. Today is September 11th. I am the founding member of Land and Civilization Compositions, an urban design, architecture, landscape, and all-around interested in urban issues-based office here. I have to say, first of all, this is just very exciting to even be asked this sort of question. It's really intelligent to step back and ask these sort of questions, to not even treat it site by site, but to deal with a series of these sites within the city. So it's great to even be a part of this as a way. And so then you have to back up and say, one has to immediately kind of question one just obvious questions of who has the right to the city in these sorts of issues, but also one has to realize that vacancy is not necessarily a problem per se. Vacancy also equals opportunity, and one has to see it that way. And one has to question even the notion of what is public space, and how does a city and its citizens deal with that issue? How do they think about that issue? How should we as urbanists or politicians or architects or people of society think about the notion of public space? And on that, I'd like to reflect a bit on my experience and our office's experiences here closer to home in Rotterdam. We've worked a few places around the world and all that, but I think actually Rotterdam is a good story. The Netherlands itself has a long tradition of squatting, and has a long tradition in that meaning that if buildings aren't being used, then other citizens are allowed to use them temporarily until the individual owners or others prepare the building to move forward to the next level. This was an opportunity. To be honest, recently this rule has changed and squatting is illegal in the Netherlands, but I would also say this is a really lost opportunity in the Dutch context. But also in the Dutch context, for me, this is an interesting story because it affects me personally. I was a part of I worked in an office called Maxwan for a few years, and we prepared the master plan for the central station area of Rotterdam. In doing so, we prepared these grand plans with skyscrapers and many nice things. I think it was still a very intelligent master plan. We finished the master plan in 2007, then the crisis hit, and everything changed. And then a very nice, at that time, young office, referred to as ZUS, had alternative plans that they'd been working on for years with a very bottom-up strategy. When the development didn't move forward, things started to happen. And things started to develop in the area. Some bars started to happen. They started to have events. There were galleries. Things started to take place in the public space. They coordinated a lot of things. And ironically, I worked at that office for a year or so with them. And then actually, that developer who used to think of them as an enemy actually approached them while I was there to discuss with them how to evolve their development plans in light of what ZUS had done. So it was a collaborative process in time. And now, which is unfortunate for the developer, I shouldn't laugh, and it's unfortunate for the city because the city has invested a lot of money in this along with the developer. Actually, the developer has had to declare bankruptcy. And this is unfortunate. So now ZUS, which I now don't work at, like I said, I have my own office, but they're going to be able to work with the city to move plans forward. But this isn't saying that developers are bad or skyscrapers are bad or anything like that. What it's saying is that there's a process where urban designers, activists, politicians, developers can work together to think about how we can use the city through time. It's not just about making designs, implementing them, and using them. There's opportunities to use things at all times. And I think this is the opportunity I see. I have not been to your city. I'm very much looking forward to going to Ljubljana. But from what I understand of the issues described, there's a few sites that are very troubling, and these can be discussed in this way. And the site that I was asked specifically to speak to was the North City Gates, the hole at Tivoli Park, which the hole at Tivoli Park already sounds kind of exciting. I looked at the site a bit online. I tried to get a feel for it. What I think is very interesting in terms of its potential is it is the gateway to at least one of the gateways to the city from what I can tell. And I think the potential of that is maybe it doesn't have to be a skyscraper. Maybe the icon doesn't have to be a building. Maybe the icon can be the activity that could take place in that space. And maybe that could evolve. And maybe it's temporary. I don't know the situation with the developer or with the city or the groups that might be interested, but there's a potential that could be a symbol in a very different way, in the way that the city engages with its citizens, its public space, and with developers to use the land that we can all share together more efficiently. And I think that's the opportunity that I would like to, and I look forward to coming there and actually discussing with the people who really know much more about the site. But I hope that's what we can engage in. I hope that's what we can think about. I hope that that's how we can go to. This isn't about right or wrong. This is about us sharing in the city and how we can work on it together. And such a significant site could be symbolic of that greater good and what I think we all strive for.